Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome to another video and welcome to another Should You Summon. The version Z update is out, hopefully you're enjoying it, let me know down in the comments what you think of it. And the LR Janemba has dropped on the global side of the game. Of course we had his animations yesterday, he's out today. I'm probably immediately assuming and guessing not a lot of you global dons have a lot of stones left. Especially after the step up, after Super Vegeta, and now Janemba. You probably don't have too many stones. So if you're a free-to-play player, I would probably just immediately before we even do anything advise you probably to skip this unless you really want this Janemba and you have some stones left. Or don't forget, there's going to be a lot of missions for you to complete from the Greatest Warrior panel missions, the new missions from the current celebration to grind. So whatever stones you can muster up, if you really want this Janemba, I mean, by all means go for it. But you probably don't have a lot of stones to begin with, so maybe you want to be saving those, and you should probably be skipping this, considering there's going to be a transforming Trunks. There's going to be one of the best PHYs in the game, which is going to be the Future 17 and 18, and also we're in the new year. In July, that's when the year 7 anniversary is. We're currently on track for that, so don't forget at some point you might want to start saving some stones in the bank. But yeah, I don't think a lot of you will probably have a lot of stones, especially free-to-play players, because if you spend money, of course, you can easily pick up the stone packs, and if you're a free-to-play player, then, I mean, it is an option for you, but you're not going to pick it up. So, yeah, that immediately is probably going to be apparent for a lot of you. You probably don't have a lot of stones after the Step Up and Super Vegeta banner being out on Global. But as always with my Should You Summon videos, they're not to deter you to spend your stones, they're not to tell you where to put your stones, they're to help you weigh out the pros and cons, and you make the decision yourself. So if this video does help you, don't forget to drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, and if you don't, then that's fair enough. But I am helping you out here, so that would drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, okay? So yeah, it is a legendary summon banner, which as always contains a lot of absolute fodder SSRs. Before you even include Janemba in this, which is obviously the unit that you want from this banner, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. You have a whole football team. I'm not calling it the S word because that's not what it's called. You have a whole football team. A whole football team of featured SSRs before you even include Janemba, who you probably don't want. Yeah, you might need dupes in a few of these. If you're free to play, you know, don't spend a lot of money on the game. You know, don't summon too much on legendary summon banners. You may need a few of these in terms of dupes. In terms of their usefulness and value, there's not a whole bunch. For example, these two Pycons, not very good at all. I'm pretty sure, is this the Gotenks I'm thinking of? Not Gotenks, Trunks. He's pretty good if you run him with the Int Goten, who is also on this banner. And this Trunks is pretty good as well after his EZA. Same with these two Gotens here. These 4 units are pretty decent, and these two, especially off their EZA. But they're unfeatured units on every single banner in the game. So if you want them or need them, pulling them off here is obviously not the best way to go. You have this Goten and these lot. I mean, she just got an EZA, so I guess there's some added value. He's still okay. He's useful, I think, on like Earthlings. Other than that, yeah. As always, you got some pretty useless featured SSRs on the legendary summon banners. But at least some of these actually aren't too bad. But again, they're not featured, they're non-featured units or unfeatured units on pretty much every banner in the game. So if you are missing them or need dupes, pull them off there instead. At least if you are going to be summoning, there is some extra value, I guess. It's not a lot, but it's something. So yeah, do bear that in mind. There is 11 featured SSRs. There is also the Janemba himself, who is a very good unit. I don't know why I've seen global players immediately. Like, there's not a lot of them. But I've seen global players immediately say Janemba's not that good, or he's mid. Like, what? This is before he actually dropped. This is when he revealed on Twitter. For some reason, I see a few global players. I don't know what you're doing. Right? This is why we get cussed. Right? This is why a lot of us get slated who are Dragon Ball fans about reading and can't be able to read. Or not being able to read. I see a few people saying he's mid. He's like the best defensive unit in the entire game. Like, you haven't even got him yet. He hasn't come out. You haven't even used him. What are you talking about? That's like you being shown a Ferrari and a Lambo and going, yeah, nah, mate, that Lambo, yeah, feels really nice. Horsepower and that, proper decent. Proper decent. That now better than a Ferrari, but you've never driven either of them. So yeah, I don't know why people are saying he's mid. He's actually quite a decent unit. He's a corroded body and mind or movie bosses category leader, giving key plus 4 HP and attack defense plus 150%. As I've mentioned before with Janemba, if you are missing the Dokkan Fest tech transform in Janemba, this is your only sub lead. So if you pick him up, he's going to be very useful. Again, if you haven't completed the GT Goku event mission, he's going to be useful for that, because there's no other option for you to run for corroded body and mind other than this current Janemba. Even on an alternative, isn't possible for a different category to fall under the corroded body and mind category as well. It's just not possible. So yeah, that is very nice. If you already have the Janemba, he's very good to run on that same team with Janemba. Like, you have one transformed to perfectly link with this guy, and then one non-transformed to kind of, you know, keep the defensive, you know, capabilities. On super attack, he does cause colossal damage to enemy and lowers defense by 40% for 3 turns. And on 18, he causes mega colossal damage to enemy and greatly lowers defense by 50% for 3 turns. Very nice. So very nice to have in SBR and ESBR. On his passive, he has attack defense plus 120%. He guards all attacks within the same turn as the first or second attacker in a turn. So he's ideal for both slot 1 and slot 2. But he guards all attacks with solid defense. This is immediately why he's considered one of the best defensive units in the game, because he guards everything. That's the first or second attacker in a turn. There's not many units you can sit in slot 1 and not be phased. Also, he gets key plus 2 up to 6 and attack and defense plus 22% up to 66% with each attack performed as the second or third attacker in a turn. So ideally, if you want to be building up that key and attack and defense while guarding all attacks, you can put him in slot 2. That won't take you long to build up at all, because it is literally just 3 attacks. Also, he has a high chance, which is a 50% chance, of nullifying Ki Blast super attacks directed at the character. So in Goku and Vegeta event, you're not going to be getting this off. But in Super, in SBR, I don't know why I was going to say Super Battle Road, and then I just stopped. In Super Battle Road and ESBR, along with the fact he guards, having this means for the most part you'll be taking no damage. Where, like, if this guy gets attacked, so say for example there's a slot 1, there's about at least 6 attacks and you're doing ESBR, sit him nice and pretty up front, he will guard everything. Also, if they are Ki Blast super attacks, he will nullify them and you will literally take literally next to no damage in that rotation. Again, hence why he's one of the best defensive units, if not the best defensive unit in the whole game. Also, he has an active skill, his rage conditions, which obviously work as like giant form, you know, typical rage conditions where it's just him. Can be activated when HP is 66% or more, starting from the 6th turn from the start of battle once only. See, this isn't the best, but it's not a transformation mechanic, so he's not transforming and then staying in the rage. He's only there for a few turns, so the 6th turn isn't the best, but it's not as bad as if he was transforming and you wanted him and needed him to transform. So the HP restriction is fine. This is okay. It's not the best, but it's not as bad as if he was transforming. So do remember that, because he will go back to just normal Janemba. And also, he has one of the nicest arts in the entire game. Like, LR Hitku was good, but LR Janemba is just a whole new level. Like, just look at this. I love the effect. Again, I don't know what to call this. I should call it a puzzle effect. It's just so nice. The transition, so nice. His link skills: Big Bad Bosses, Shocking Speed, Metamorphosis, Brutal Beatdown, Fear and Faith, Fist, Battle, Legendary Power. So he's going to link very well with any other Super Janemba unit. Unfortunately, he won't, because they have the same name. So if you transform the Tech Dokkan Fest Janemba, they will link very nicely together. And then he goes on Movie Bosses, Transformation Boost, Exploding Rage, Corroded Body and Mind, Accelerated Battle, which is pretty much typical Janemba categories really, but there are some nice categories there, not many though. And then when he goes into Enraged, he causes destructive damage to enemy with a temporary high chance of performing a critical hit, which is a 50% chance to crit. You have a built-in crit on super attack with no dupe, which is very nice. On 18, he causes destructive damage to an enemy with, again, a 50% chance of performing a crit. So he'll perform a crit on both 12 and 18 key supers. On passive, he receives an additional key plus 1 per key sphere obtained, which is very nice. So yeah, he's a very good unit. Don't get me wrong, he's a very good unit and probably one of the best defensive units in the entire game. But of course, as two of the main factors I mentioned, it is an LR banner. There's a lot of kind of useless SSRs here. There's some slight value here with these two Chunkers and these two Go-10s. Again, they're unfeatured on every banner in the game. You probably already have one, potentially maybe one, maybe even two dupes. You know, so is it really extra value? I mean, if you don't have them, it is, but it doesn't give you an extra reason to summon on this banner. As I said, they're unfeatured on every banner in the game, so you'll pick them up eventually, especially when you don't want to. But I know a lot of people playing the game are probably not going to have a lot of stones right now, if any. Again, especially coming off the back of the step up banner, if you've done all 3 rounds on that. And then also Super Vegeta, now Janemba. So a lot of free-to-play players, you probably won't be able to summon on this, but you can grind stones, of course, from the version Z update. So I mean, you could summon on him. I'd probably advise you save your stones rather than summon on an LR banner, unless you really want Janemba. I mean, really, really want him, then by all means go nuts. If you spend money on the game or you're a whale, then, you know, it's entirely up to you. But do remember, also for any free-to-play, spend a little bit of money, absolute whale. There will be a transforming Dokkan Fest Trunks, probably next, unless they switch up the order, which is obviously the one that fought Mecha Frieza from the Android saga, who's pretty good. And then one of the best TURs in the game, which is Android 17 and 18. And then also don't forget, we're on track to the year 7 anniversary. So at some point, you do want to start saving stones. So, with that being considered, do let me know down in the comments if you are going to indeed summon for him. And let me know how your summons go. And let me know how you're finding the version Z update. I will see you in the next video, guys. And peace.